I'm Muretta Moss, and I'm a Georgia actor.
Hi, thank you for watching Georgia Actors. I'm John Babcock. I'm here with Muretta Moss, and we're at Roll Call Theater. Muretta, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being on and joining us.
It is a joy to be here. Thank you.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
For me too. When was it that you first decided to become an actor?
College. I was lost, confused, which I think is like a real thing. Like, how do people know what they want to be? Because you can change it so many times.
Yeah, and grow tired of something and then
yes,
hop into something else.
So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was at university and struggling, and there was a movie filming. Sometimes I don't like to say the movie because it dates me, but I'm trying to be really empowered with my age.
Okay.
But I'm still.
Well, you don't have to.
Yeah, no. It was Road Trip, which it was a really it was a big movie that came to town, and it came to the University of Georgia, and I remember just stepping in the quad, and it was magic. I just think movies are magic, and I was like, oh, I wanna do this, and I started taking professional acting classes. I transferred schools, and here I am.
So, but when you stepped on that set, as you said, as an extra, it was just seeing everything and all the action, and it was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. And then I had the opportunity, because with my friends, we stood in line to be featured extras, and then I got to have some more work with the director as one of a featured sorority girl, and that was just like a sweeter bite of the apple, and God, it was so great, and it felt so easy, and then decades later, it's such a journey, but it was so fun. And so it was just movie magic, yeah.
So that was the light bulb moment, and from there?
Yeah, because I didn't know that acting was even a possibility then. And especially in Georgia, there was not, from my perspective, that type of production work. And then when I started taking acting classes, I realized that there was a lot of regional commercial work. There was movies that were filming here, not just local indie movies, but bigger budget movies were coming here. So it was all just starting to happen.
When you changed colleges, was it then you took classes in college, or did you look outside of college for classes, or both?
I took classes outside of college at What Films, which is no longer around.
Okay.
I went to Georgia Tech, so I never studied they didn't really have a great theater department at an engineering school. But I did, they had a cable network, so I hosted some TV shows. One was Fat TV, PHAT. I don't remember what it stands for right now. Something about music videos. So I was the host of that. Anyway, so I hosted a couple TV shows for Georgia Tech. I did move to California for 10 years. I went to LA, and I trained there, took wonderful classes, really fell in love with improv out there, went to Second City, UCB, IO West, and got a lot of great training. And then I had a friend he moved out to LA a year before me, and then moved back to Atlanta a year before me, and he said I booked more in Atlanta in 1 year than I did 10 years in LA, and I was like, oh, okay, I will see you there. So then I moved back to Atlanta because I wanted to work, and I was like, I'll book everything in a year and then move back to LA.
And no.
It's a journey.
Yeah,
it's a journey. And there's just so much work here, so.
It sounds like that trip to that time in LA certainly was helpful and beneficial because you were training and.
Yeah, I loved it just for the people I met. I made great friends. It was great leaving home and developing a sense of self outside of where I grew up. So I really loved it.
And did all of that help once you came back and was presenting resumes to agents and everything, or was it
I think so. I think so. I don't know. Everyone here had credits, and Even though I had worked in LA, I didn't have network credits.
Okay.
I spent a lot of like independent projects, you know.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of that. I don't think I wowed anyone with like, but I certainly told everyone I could that I came from LA.
Right. So there's
Yeah,
that.
yes.
How did we know Muretta went? She will
Yes,
tell you.
it's like
Okay.
I'm also a vegetarian.
That's right.
Yes.
Feeling the Christmas spirit?
I sure am.
Your mom's swinging from the lights again, isn't she?
I'm okay! Wouldn't it be fun to take a trip?
Trip?
Somewhere exotic.
Go on.
Like Miami.
There you go, kiddo.
The darkness suits me.
Hey, I got your back.
Please, watch your father.
I haven't had dinner.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Put a shark and a crocodile even.
How could a shark and a crocodile even do that?
Never mind.
Why are you crying?
I don't know. I don't know why I'm crying.
When you're in the performing arts, it's better to kind of get out there in addition to, particularly like working on camera when you send in auditions and stuff like that, but also to kind of expand your network by doing something that is a little bit more live and in-person live performance, so that you can expand your network that way and opportunities can come at you those ways.
Yes, if we're talking in LA, like people just did everything because that is just what you do.
Right,
Like it is just checking off like the boxes of commercial workshops, improv, making a web series. Like it's just you go down the list. And then here it is, I think, doing improv or sketch. It's because it's having community. It's a lot of just like being with funny people and having community. But I love to perform, so
Right.
that is just an outlet when you're not on set or like wanting to actively write or create something, because that's a lot of work. Sometimes you just want to get up and get together and have an ensemble that's just so easy, and
Right.
Yeah.
But that also, do you find that then those live experience aids on camera and vice versa at all?
Definitely. Because you can always just keep a scene going for forever. Whenever I do an audition, I'm like, I don't want to just stop with the lines, which I think was a problem in beginning auditioning here, because I could just have a button that would last for a good minute, and now I just kind of I just wrap it up. I almost don't button now because I over buttoned in the beginning days. Yeah, and then when you're on set, like until the director says cut, the scene is not over. So being an improviser, I think, is a fantastic skill. Just acting training in general, to continue to live truthfully in the moment until the director says cut.
You talked about doing all the things.
Yeah.
Is that something that you try to do with TikTok, Instagram, keeping all those plates spinning, or?
Oh no. No, just no. No. Ideally I would like to, but I think no, I can't. There is now this thing of where I feel very stilted in creating because I don't know who I'm creating for. You want likes, but sometimes what I like is not what gets the likes. Like social media, it's definitely it's a beast that I am drained by, but also inspired by. But it changes so fast. It's hard to
Keep on top of.
Yeah, especially when that's not the storytelling that I'm compelled by.
Right.
It's a hard blend. I haven't figured it out yet, and I don't know. It drains me.
Do you feel it's a necessity for actors to have?
Is it a necessity? Is it an end all be all? Does it make or break your career? I don't know. Is it making or breaking mine? Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a following, but
But you're obviously booking, so.
But we all we're all if we're in it long enough and we're doing the work, I think we all get those bites and hits. I don't know. What do you think?
It's I don't know either, because it changes. It changes. because it's, okay, look over here, and okay, now, wait, now this thing, so you can really kind of, lose yourself in trying to keep up with everything and like forgetting about the real purpose of getting in, why everybody, got into it is to express and communicate something that sometimes it can be, but then other times people have we know people who have really hit on that. And
Yeah.
That's become not only their revenue stream, but their notoriety with it. So
I think that's great too.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way that I could find a way to be very authentic and get the hits,
Yeah. Right.
But I haven't figured that out yet. Because sometimes when I'm authentic, I'm like, oh, I've lost followers, and I don't like that, and then that makes me not post. And then I don't like that I don't post,
Right. Because then you have nothing to post, and people, all that.
What a life we lead.
Looking back, are there any? Did you have any experiences like early on where you were like, I should take this because it'll help me on my path, on my journey, and then looking back, going, I probably should not have done that. Have you had any of those?
Not really, because anytime I'm on set is a good day.
Okay.
It's getting a project seen and a lot of eyes on it, it's very difficult. So if it's something that's not really fantastic, my work or the work of the entire project, it just disappears. I mean, there's so much content out there. I'm not worried about it. I love being on set, so I just love working with people. Every time I get off of a project where we've been together, for a week or what have you, I'm like, that felt like camp. I loved that, and it's about the story, but it's also about the community and like the filmmaking itself. I mean, like even this is just really fun. Like we're connecting that we wouldn't do if I wasn't here.
Right,
I just love it. Like, yeah. I sometimes sit and I'm like, maybe I'm just not a good actor. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. I like doing it, So I'll show up. If you're gonna have me, I'll show up.
Right. half of any success is showing up,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean, or of anything.
I will say there was times like back, probably when I was just like Craigslist days of just really deciding I wanted to be an actor and figuring out what that looked like here. I remember I posed, this is awful, but as a dead person, and a guy would take, as a crime scene, and a guy took photos of girls being dead. That doesn't seem like something that's healthy, especially as a 19-year-old girl. I probably wouldn't do that again.
Okay.
And I actually think my mom was like, I don't want you to go back. And I was like, yeah, that's okay.
But that, again, not through an agent. That was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was off of Craigslist. Oops. But that was Craigslist was more, I mean, I know that was 20 years ago. So it was a little more legit. We don't do that now. We didn't have Actors Access we do now.
Right, yeah. And you've worked on a few projects of your own creation, right?
Yeah. You're about intersection?
Yeah,
Is that,
exactly.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So a friend of mine who was the showrunner and creator, Meg Messmer, she had the idea because she had flipped a house in LA in a gentrifying area. So intersection is basically about gentrification. I'm a real estate agent, and she was kind of doing the same thing, looking at homes in up and coming areas in Atlanta. So we had been talking about our impact on a community, and she wanted to write a story and create a story about that. And I was like, yeah, okay. People want to create things all the time, and I'm just I'm an idea. I love ideas, but I'm not the person that's let's do it. But then she told another friend of ours, Jenica, and they're more of yes, we are doing it. And once they got that ball rolling, I was like, okay. And we started writing it and researching it and brought on some other writers, and then made the thing. We made a short form series based on a neighborhood here in Atlanta undergoing gentrification, and it's it's a dark comedy. There's a lot going on, and I'm really excited about it because one of our actors, Jacente Blankenship, our writer, co-producer, and actress, got a Primetime Emmy nomination, which is just really exciting. We love her work in it, and that the show got that type of attention. And I'm proud to have worked on it as a writer and as an actress and a producer, like doing all of the things.
Local Atlanta real estate agent and wait, cut! Can you see that in the background? That! You can see that? Then cut! Let us move and find my light. This feels good. I'm Mary Margaret. I take the Excuse me. Cut, I'm gonna do that again. I take the worst house on the best block and no, this just doesn't feel right. Cut, because I wanna see what's happening, okay? Excuse me.
When you finish it though, talk about that. Where did you submit? Did you put it in festivals, or how did it get?
We did put it in Sundance and maybe South by Southwest, so those two big ones. I'm so optimistic. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get in. We did not get into those festivals, and then we just, I think, submitted to the Emmys, and we now have a partnership with WABE, and it'll be playing there, which is great because that's kind of our audience. We'll see what else happens with it. So you just sometimes have to just throw your hat in the ring and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a great way of obviously this was something that started out as kind of like a passion project, but that everybody found fulfilling and a worthwhile story, and you were like, let's do it.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why we submitted to larger festivals is we wanted to have a larger audience. We weren't just making it for us. We wanted to get eyes on it and to create and start conversations outside of just our little community.
Now, if you were, say, watching this, starting out or interested in becoming a working actor in Georgia, what do you think your first step would be?
I think one of the first steps is to get in class with like-minded people who are interested in acting and figuring out if you like it, because a lot of people are like, I want to be an actor, but they don't know that it is bearing your soul. and a lot of times sitting around and waiting and filled with, I hate to set people up and being like, you're going to be rejected a lot, but I think that is part of the business side of it. So you have to understand that, and so get in an acting class and get in a business of acting class. And there's a lot of great beginning intro to acting classes here, and so I would recommend that. And I would also get on these casting sites on Actors Access. You have to pay a fee, but that's a legit site. I think Casting Networks is probably a legit site as well, and you can submit yourself to student projects. I'm sure SCAD does a lot of student films, and get on set and get some footage. And that's what I would do if I was starting out right now. And I would also probably go and be an extra like I did on Road Trip. That was because I loved it. It was fun, and see how movies are made and learn film etiquette. Know that you can't just go up and talk to the lead actors on set. There's boundaries and things, and you have to be quiet, but you also have to hit your marks even as an extra, and learning that. There's lots of different ways you can learn, and being an extra, you get paid.
Right.
I don't know how much, but that's an education in itself. I think you can learn while you're getting paid.
And then, finding out if you want to do that. And also on the same side, if it's theater, go to, see some live shows.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I also say take an improv class, take a sketch class.
Right, yeah. What has been some of your worst gigs? And they can be whatever. You had to dress up as a tomato and dance around a mall.
Well, I have definitely, I did the trade show circuit.
Oh, okay.
So I used to dress up as triglycerides and fatty acids for pharmaceutical conventions.
Okay.
And they would have these little women, and we would have bright red lipstick on, and And that is something that I did, which actually when you were these costume characters, that was the best gig. Because people would like take photos with you at these pharmaceutical conventions, much better than just being a regular booth babe. Oh, I hated those. Because standing on your feet for 8 hours a day, that was the worst. But you know, that's how I like paid my bills in college. Oh, this is really funny though. This is like one time I was an extra in a Georgia Lottery commercial, like way like back in the day, like when I was just starting out. And I remember it was at a concert and I was standing in line. The principal was buying a concert t-shirt and I was just like looking around being like, ooh. And the director was like, told me to stop like face acting so much. I was like too big as an extra. Whatever, I was learning, I was young. I mean, I wasn't that young, I probably should have known, but I love being, like I was just too big. And so that was like my most like mortifying of like, oh gosh. Getting like called out for just, and I can just picture how ridiculous I looked now of just being like.
Thoughts, Muretta Moss, on being a Georgia actor? What does that mean?
I just love the community here, and we're just so big and growing. There's just what does it mean to be a Georgia actor? I don't.
Yeah, is there any difference from being located in LA, New York?
I'm still biting my tongue because I think our gatekeepers are the ones who treat us like there's the difference, and I think we're a really talented group of people, and there is not if you are doing your job.
Mm-hmm. Good. Right?
Yeah. You guys just stopped. You guys just stopped.
That was a good stopping.
That was a really good
Yeah.
stopping.